It's Tuesday, August the 9th, and this is the iPhoneography podcast. Hey, everybody, I'm Greg McMillan, and this is a special episode of the podcast, and I'm joined by someone who I've been looking forward to speaking with for quite some time now, and his name is Daniel Agee from Glass. Hello, Daniel.
Hello, Greg. Thanks for having me.
Oh, the pleasure is mine. This is something that I've been excited about for quite a while because um, I'm not sucking up to you, but I've been really excited about Glass since I joined it like a year ago.
A
So
year ago, like today or tomorrow. Yeah.
yes,
Uh,
yeah. So that's exciting. We're going to get to that in a minute, though. But first, I got uh, you know. As anybody knows that listens to the show, the last episode that Dave and I did, we kind of tore Instagram apart a little bit. In fact, the show title was called Instagram Sucks. And
that
ever
Facts
since,
checked.
yes,
That is a true.
yes.
That is truth. Nailed it.
Yeah. And you know what? It's becoming a mainstream topic, I think, especially in the photography circles, because ever since when Facebook first bought it, and it was in 2012, and I know that because that year I did a photo a day, the picture a day challenge, and I made a poster of all the thumbnails of all the pictures I did that year, all 366 of them, and somewhere on that poster is just a screenshot of a note that I did that says, "So Facebook bought Instagram." And I said something about, if they screw it up, I'm done or whatever.
Yeah.
I can't remember what exactly it says, but it's taken,
Fast forward a decade, and we did it.
about 10 years, and they've messed it up so bad, in my opinion. I mean, it was made for photographers back then. It was the place to be. If you weren't on Instagram, you didn't exist type of thing. And now it's just TikTok 2.0, let's face it. And I'm not on TikTok, and I really don't, want to be. So
Yeah.
I'm really disappointed in it. So I've looked over the years with, for an alternative to Instagram, excuse me, and I just haven't been able to find one. I've tried Day Flash. There was a little one called Gala that only lasted a few months, I think. Some of these indie developers were trying to make some, maybe just trying to find that needle in a haystack, that might give them some success. And I appreciate them for that.
Yep.
But now, a year ago, Glass came on the scene, and I love it. So
Thank you. That feels very nice.
So before we get into Glass, let's just tell everybody in a tweet who you are.
All right. Daniel Agee. I'm the head of community and marketing at Glass. I'm a recovering professional photographer, transitioned to community management and marketing 12 or 15 years ago, somewhere in there. After getting just severely burned out. This is longer than a tweet. That is more than 240 characters.
Okay.
So I used to run a photography studio outside of Washington, D.C. And then, shot weddings, senior portraits, the whole thing. Got burned out, set down my camera for years.
Wow.
Like didn't take a picture for almost 2 years outside of like silly phone cameras. And like not iPhone cameras. We're talking like flip phones.
Yeah.
And then when the iPhone came out, it kind of it rocked my world for a lot of reasons. Like it was clear that I was going to be working on iPhone apps as soon as the App Store SDK came out. And it was clear that, like that's where my career was going to take me. But I didn't expect the camera to be my like one of my top 3 all-time favorite cameras.
Now, which iPhone did it for you? Like for me, it was the 4.
Yeah, mine. I was on an off upgrade cycle, so I remember convincing my dad to switch to Verizon because Verizon had better
Mm.
coverage where we lived in rural Idaho growing up.
Oh
And
yeah.
so I was like a teen and I was like, no, I need like a real cell phone that has coverage so I can text my buds.
Hmm.
And then like 3 weeks after we switched to Verizon, Steve Jobs walked on the stage and announced
And through
the
AT&T everywhere.
yeah, and they were like, okay, well, it was originally Singular because it was right before AT&T bought Singular. So he like walked out and was like, Singular, the thing you just left, Daniel. And I was like, oh, damn it. Uh, so I
Oh
had to
no.
wait until the iPhone 3G. So I was on the off years.
Oh yeah.
So I had a 3G until the 5. And the
Hmm.
iPhone 5 was like, the epitome of perfect design.
Yeah.
Like one of the last lay flats, finally the extra row of things. And, now I'm a 13 Pro user because I'm a because I help run and build a photography app for iPhone
Yeah. Well,
photographers.
you
So
got to
like
stay up. You got to
you
stay current.
gotta
Yeah.
exactly.
Well,
Uh,
when I say it was the four that did it for me, it was the fact that I saw a photo taken with the four. A friend of mine showed me a picture of his daughter's dog, and the image was just unbelievable, and the screen helped too. I mean, that's the first time they had the
yep.
Retina display. So my first iPhone was actually the 4S, but I was a massively big BlackBerry guy before that. Um, you know, I didn't even like Steve Jobs and Apple at that time, but then I got to know, I listened to some podcasts and things like that, and I got to gain some appreciation for his thought process on how to run the company and why they were so, such a walled garden, right?
Yeah.
And now, I mean, obviously that's all. I mean the Apple ecosystem pretty heavy, but
Same.
yeah, yeah,
Surprising no one. Same.
yeah.
Yeah, so like that, and then after I, like started it was like a tandem of really great iPhone cameras, they kept getting better,
Hmm.
and then Instagram coming out, right? Like I
Hmm.
I I joined October 10th, like the day they came out, and posted very bad, very over edited photos of, like
Oh,
chips and
didn't we all
salsa and
though?
my
Didn't we all?
roommates. And yeah, exactly. Right. I am brave enough to leave them on my profile. So many
Oh,
other
I think,
photographer friends I know that have like removed their old bad ones. I'm like, no, these are
yeah, I
sticking
think mine
around
are
for
all
the
there.
historical record.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
there's also, you can like, I really like, as much as Instagram, the shopping app, depresses me now, I still really love being able to go back and like see the catalog of my last 10 years, because you can
Hmm.
see like 3 years where I was taking Instagram seriously. I was shooting a lot more than I was before. Where like the vibe was really good. My friends were
Yeah.
there. And like 2012 to like 2015, a lot of like really interesting things happened on the internet that are never coming back. Right, like
Yeah.
like people talk about Instagram and like going back to how they just really want Instagram to be photos, and like, let me see photos of my friends. I'm like, I love that idea.
Yeah.
uh as a user, as like a as a founding member of Glass, I hate the idea, but whatever.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
but like it's not coming back for a lot of reasons, right? Like the social currency of the internet in 2012 was photos, fast photos from a
Yeah.
good enough camera on a place, right? That doesn't exist anymore for a lot of reasons, but it's the same way that like Medium doesn't exist in the same way anymore. You used to be able to put a bad blog post on Medium and get 100,000 views within a couple of days if you triggered the right algorithm things, right? Like you used to be able to take an Uber for like $6 across town instead of 30, right?
Oh, yeah.
You used to like the venture backed subsidizing of views and cheap rides and like destroying labor protections,
Hmm.
just like that's not coming back, because now we're at the end of that cycle where they have to reap their rewards, right? Like they have to make all the billions back that they gave away for free.
Yeah.
um and like that's very depressing. Like in like the early, let's say like 2010, right? If you had told me in 2022, like 12 years later, that the internet would be caring about like privacy again and who owns your work and how artists are compensated.
Yeah.
I would have been like thrilled and very excited about it, and then like the monkey paw would curl and someone would pop out of the back door and be like, well, it's crypto and Web3 and Bitcoin. I'd be like, oh, well, terrible. Like
Yeah.
the promise of crypto and Web3 is as empty as the ones that we had in 2012. It's a lot easier to see. But like the things that they care about or purport to care about to make more people money are like really interesting and like really powerful, right? Like they the problem with the internet now, right? And the problem with Web 2.0 and Facebook and centralized platforms is not the technology they're built on, right? Like the blockchain is worse technology than about any other technology that exists, right? Like it's just
Hmm.
a really expensive blockchain. It's like a database. Like how can we make a database burn the rainforest? I apologize if any of your listeners are NFT users or fans. I am not,
Yeah, I am
clearly.
not either. I'm no interest in it.
So, but like the problem was never how with the technology it was built with. It is the way that we funded it, right? Like
Yeah.
giving away billions of dollars, centralizing a thing, and selling ads against it, and like just wildly invasive data tracking, right?
Yeah.
And so when we were starting to build Glass, our our pitch is pretty simple, right? So like if you don't know what Glass is, hi, I'm Daniel. I work at Glass. It is a photo only social platform and community for photographers. We've been
Hmm.
around for a year. Tomorrow is our 1 year anniversary. Tomorrow we are also opening up outside of the Apple ecosystem, and anyone on any computer or any phone will be able to sign up. And so like that's really exciting for us. We
Yeah.
charge a membership fee. That's our big revolutionary thing. We don't have engagement algorithms. We don't have invasive data tracking, and we charge a small membership fee. If we use the if you use the code that we're going to give Greg in the show notes to sign up, you can get your first year for $20. Uh, it
And
usually costs 30 a year. So it's $2.50 USD a month
yeah.
to not have ads, not be tracked everywhere, and to have a really nice, engaged community of people who just care about photos and want to look at really great photos. That's
And
it.
that is
That's our
why
pitch.
I love Glass. I love it and I'm using it and it's I'm going to post there. I'm still going to use Instagram a little bit, and I have to, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But well, first of all, I mean, you just broke the record, Daniel, for the longest tweet.
That was it was a wee bit of a thread.
It was a thread, but that's
I
okay. But no, but I mean, I have to keep Instagram open because, and I mean, my listeners know that I wrote this book and it's in the publisher's hands and it's getting put together right now. And I'm getting notifications on my wrist of glass,
Yeah,
which is
it's me.
awesome.
I'm in your
Oh,
stuff.
cool. And so in the book, there's going to be some QR codes that point to things on Instagram, and so that's why I'm leaving my account
Yeah.
open. But so I will be posting there once in a while. But I mean, I'm going to Glass more than anything right now because again, like you said, the no ads, no algorithms, all that stuff, and the community aspect of it is improving over time because with more people that go there, the
Yep.
better it's going to get. So okay, so two-part question here.
Ready.
How did you become part of the Glass team,
Yep.
and how did Glass get started to begin with?
Yeah. So, Tom Watson, our the co-founder and designer of Glass, had the idea over a decade ago So I met
Oh.
Tom when he left Facebook and moved back to Portland. I had just moved to Portland from somewhere else. And we were at a meetup for a mutual friend, and someone connected us. They were like, "Hey, you two would like arguing? Let's argue." It was right after it was like right after Foursquare broke out Swarm as its own
Mm,
skin
yeah.
app, and I had a lot of opinions about it. I was a power user and street team member for Gowalla. I cared about location. I almost worked at Foursquare. Like I had a lot of opinions about location, and I was
Hmm.
talking about it. And this Tom is very tall. That has been his, Twitter bio for like decades now. Very
Oh
tall.
yeah.
So Tom's very tall, and so I kept like looking up and arguing with this man. I was like, "Why am I arguing? Like, he is so good at arguing. I am like, this is so fun, right?" It was like just like a friendly, like had one too many beers at a bar,
Oh yeah.
argument about dumb stuff we didn't actually care about. And
Yep.
then I was like, "Okay, that's enough about, like that's enough about location. What do you do?" And he was like, "Oh, well, I just left Facebook, where I was one of the lead designers on their location app and timeline," and then started listing off all the stuff he'd built at Facebook. And I was like, "Oh, that is why you are so good at this."
Yeah.
And so like he and I became, like instant friends. And we went to lunch shortly after that. And at that lunch, I told him about a failed art magazine idea that I had. And he told me about this idea for a photo community platform that he wanted to
Hmm.
build, but he needed to find the right team. He needed to find the right people. And, like it needed to be the right time in the market. But it was the idea for Glass. It wasn't called Glass yet. He had a very bad, different name
Oh yeah.
that, as everyone does.
Yeah.
So he and I became friends, and it's one of those ideas that we kind of just like checked in on every 6 to 12 months. Um, and then we were both living in Amsterdam in 2019. And he was working at a company called Framer there, and that's where he met Glass's other co-founder, Stefan,
Hmm.
um, who's the engineer extraordinaire behind Glass. Um, and they met, and he was like, "Oh, I found him! Like, I found my tech
Yeah.
co-founder. This is it. We're doing it. We're gonna start building Glass." And that was in November of 2019. So
Oh
it
yeah.
essentially became a pandemic app,
Right.
where it
Yeah.
was nights and weekends. Glass is entirely self-funded because like it a bunch of venture capital to start with was not going to work for what we were trying to build, right? Like
Yeah. Oh yeah.
there's a big difference between raising, $5 million 2 years before we launch a thing versus if we raise $5 million a year from now, right? Like the changes
Hmm.
in the platform before the product's built is very different. So like if we raise money before anything, there would have been investor mandating that we had free accounts, and then we didn't do memberships, and then we just did ads, and then we're just in the same cycle that Instagram perpetuated. So we self-funded it nights and weekends, and it spent 2 years developing it. And then like 8 weeks before we launched, Tom was like, "Okay, it's time. We need you." Right? Like
Oh yeah.
when there's nothing to market and there's no community to build and manage,
Oh yeah.
there's not a lot of use for me in the early days. So like Tom and I had
Yeah.
chatted product about this for years, but like there wasn't a worthwhile job. So a couple like 2 months before we launched, I joined the team, and it was supposed to be for launch, right? Like I was just going to hang out, help out my friend, and
Yeah.
make sure that they launched really well. And then like 20 minutes into launch, I was like, "Tom, give me the login for Twitter. You're not very good at tweets. I'll just do a couple of tweets for a minute, and then okay, and oh god," and then our launch took off in a really wonderful way. and there was like an obvious hole in the team that they needed the support, and we were more successful than they
Yeah.
thought they would be. So it was like, okay, nope, Daniel's just here now. Hello,
Yep.
everyone. Uh,
Yeah.
so I accidentally fell into it. I guess is the answer. It's just
And
surprise. Here I am.
what a way to get there. It all started with
Yeah,
arguments.
yeah. So like Tom's one of his biggest compliments and disses of me is that I argue like someone from Facebook. Uh
Oh.
and like I was like, ouch, but also thanks, I guess.
Yeah.
Like yeah, those were the best product arguments I've ever had in my life. And you're good at arguing. I'm like, oh, thanks. I just want the best for our little photo app. Uh
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
hey, it's whatever it takes to get the job done, right?
exactly.
Yeah. Uh, do you know offhand how many users would be on there now?
Yes. Now ask me the second question if I'll tell you. Um,
Oh, okay.
so we don't share user numbers because we get incorrectly compared to Instagram all the time, and so
Yeah.
like when we're talking 5 digits and like thousands and thousands and thousands of members as opposed
Yeah.
to billions, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, what a silly
Okay. Well,
little nice little
I'll
app you got.
rephrase that
Yeah.
question. Um, does the amount of users you have now completely blow you away compared to what your expectations were for the first year?
Mine, no. Tom's and Stefan's, yes. So
Okay.
like before we were launching, I was like, yo, this is gonna be a big deal. Like we're gonna get a lot more members than you think.
Hmm.
Like they would have been thrilled with 500 signups in the first day. And
Yeah.
we had over 10,000 trials started within the first like 2 days of
Wow.
launching. And so,
That's
like
impressive.
right. So that was the moment when I was like, oh, nope, time for Daniel to do more.
Yeah.
And like we've had like as all startups exist, I wrote this in an email that went out last week, our monthly
Yep.
highlights email. I got earnest about it because it is wild to me that we get to do this, and it's wild that like this keeps growing. And we have things that have been like big moments for us, right? Like Adam Mosseri's dumb video about how photos are heritage features a couple weeks ago. Like that was a big moment for us, right?
Hmm.
As a company, but our iPad launch was bigger than that, right? Our like our launch for web was a big deal. Us like being on the Daring Fireball podcast with John Gruber was a big deal for us.
Yeah. Oh,
These
yeah,
like sort of
definitely.
things, like the biggest moments of growth in the community and the best parts of our story over the last year haven't come from people hating Instagram, but people falling in love with Glass, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
when we talk about it, we're not trying to replace Instagram. We never were. Instagram is for everyone. Glass is for photographers or for someone that wants to share their photos somewhere without distraction or, giving up all of their personal information. We're not trying
Yeah.
to get
Yeah.
photographers to leave Instagram. We're trying to get photographers to delete their second Instagram account where they only post their film photos that hasn't
Mm,
served them in years, right? Like
yeah.
the habits that we get into with these apps are so it's so easy to get stuck in these things of like I can't, like the sunk cost fallacy of like, oh, I have 5,000 followers on my second photography account, and it's where I make all my money. But it's like, no, you're not. Like you're making your money
Yeah.
from the community building that you're doing with other photographers in your town, like meeting people on the street, shooting events. Like they just happen to
Yeah.
connect with you on the messaging app that is attached to the shopping app, right? Like the no we had one member a couple of months ago send us in an email, and they were like, this is incredible. I love everything about this. I have 50,000 followers on Instagram, and I get more engagement from my 50 followers on Glass because the
Yeah. Yeah.
50 followers see their photos. He doesn't have to
Yes.
pay a multi-billion-dollar corporation to show the people that follow him his photos, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so like that's the stuff that's like really exciting for us, is that yes, there's a lot of anger around Instagram and the direction that Instagram's going, and like totally fair, right? Like Instagram saying people really want video when all they have done is prioritize video for 5 years, and they have hidden photos, and they
Hmm.
have like changed their UI to drive people to stories and DMs, and then say, well, stories and DMs and video are where the engagement is, so we can't do photos. Sorry, is like trying really not to swear here, but it's
Yeah.
bad, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a crock.
And yeah, it is. It's just like a very obvious lie around like
Yeah.
UX decisions, right? Like these are all just decisions that we're making, and the decisions that Instagram has to make for their investors are the decisions that they're making, and that is what it is, right? Like
Yeah.
Tim Cook deleted $15 billion in revenue like 18 months ago when he turned on the no privacy tracking ask not to trap thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, and
Yeah.
Instagram has been
Yeah.
scrambling
Good on
since
you,
then.
Tim Cook.
Right, exactly. Like
Yeah.
I I hate that I have to pick a, like $1 billion corporation to trust my life and privacy to. And like, do I
Hmm.
think that this is just a marketing angle for Apple? Yes. Do I care? No, I'm currently benefiting from it. It's wonderful.
Exactly. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, go ahead. Let's keep going. I
Yeah.
can talk about
Well,
how
I mean,
wonderful things
you've
are.
answered one of my other questions because I was going to ask you if you saw Glass as a full-fledged replacement for Instagram, or does it just fit into a complement to that flat platform?
Yeah. I think it's both, right?
Yeah.
So it depends on what you're looking for. Like I'm personally not deleting my Instagram account because my Instagram account is how I keep in touch with a dozen or 2 dozen people that
Hmm.
aren't elsewhere, right?
Yeah.
For whatever reason, like my wonderful friend Alicia is bad at texting with me, but is
Yeah.
wonderful at DMing on
She'll answer a
Instagram.
DM anytime.
Right. Exactly. And so it's like, okay, great. Like that is what it is, right? I'm
Yeah.
attached to this shopping network that I talk to my friends on.
Hmm.
But like I haven't posted to the feed to the I haven't posted a photo on Instagram in a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
What a
Yeah.
surprise. There's no coincidence that it's just right when Glass came out. Of course not.
Yeah. Yeah. Of
But
course.
like it's what you're like looking for, right? We have people that are growing, like slowly but surely, like using Glass to grow their photography business, and like we are not currently set up well for that. Like to be very direct, this is a photography community, not a photography marketing channel.
Yes.
We
Exactly.
have features that are coming out over the next couple of years that will be geared towards helping photographers make more money in their business, but they're not there yet, right? Like right now, we are totally focused on the community product of Glass, and it's wonderful, right? Like
Yeah.
there's so much value in experimentation, in talking with people who know your craft,
Hmm.
finding
Oh
inspiration
yeah.
outside of yourself, and outside of your usual avenues, and the community aspect of Glass is so unique, I think, right? Like
Hmm.
because it's a paid platform, because we have a community code of conduct, right? So like in our code of conduct,
Yeah. And I
the
like that. I like that idea.
we have a no hate speech. We have a very clear no white supremacy rule that says,
Yeah.
hey, no Nazis, because
Yeah.
it's not hard. This is not a hard problem to solve. These large tech companies just choose not to,
Yeah.
um, because there's more money in outrage and algorithms than there is charging a fee. But because we don't
Hmm.
need to make returns for $1 trillion corporation, we just need to
Yep.
keep the lights on and pay, 3 or 4 people. Then we're living the dream, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like the choices that we can make serve the community as opposed to serve our investors.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So like I would love it, right? Like if Instagram went away tomorrow. Like at this point, I think
Yeah.
Instagram and its parent company, Facebook, sorry, Meta, whatever,
Yeah.
are
I hear you.
net negative for the country and the planet. Like the algorithm has broken people. The ads business is regularly approving ads for genocide in African and Southeast Asian countries. Like lynch mobs
Yeah.
exist on WhatsApp. Like all of these things are like terrible, and they're doing it because it makes them money. And so, like personally, myself, I would love it if Instagram disappeared tomorrow, but I don't think that's going to happen, right?
Yep.
But what I do think is that over the next couple of years, we're going to continue seeing people taking more control over how they spend their time, right? Like as the media calls it the attention economy. As we get further into the creator and attention economy, we're seeing it with writers and starting Substacks or ghosts. Ghosts.
Hmm.
That's not a great. Substack is a much better name than Ghost. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Um, but like the like individual subscriptions, smaller things, and like supporting the creators on Patreon, even though the problems with Patreon and their hundreds of millions of funding that they've raised and all the problems that's caused there, like we're seeing a shift towards people taking more control over their online identity, as online identity has merged more and more with your personal life. And I
Yeah.
think that there's a really interesting thing happening where that matters and people are willing to pay a little bit of money for it, right? Like the when I open Instagram now, because I don't use it nearly as much as I did,
Hmm.
it is alarming, right? Like if this is a thing that we use, right? Like the amount of ads that are pushed at me, the amount of weird coincidences that happen because like I went to my parents' house and they had searched something and then we had the same IP address. So then they, like showed
Yeah.
me my
Oh, yeah.
parents' toothpaste or whatever, right? Like there's so
Yeah.
many like creepy, weird things like that.
Yep.
Um, and like paying like $3 a month to not have that. Ooh,
Oh, I said
what a
years ago,
blessing.
I would have paid for Instagram if they'd have just not done all the stuff that they've done. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm Glass, here, take my money. Here it
We,
is, take it.
we appreciate it. Thank you. We will take it.
Yeah.
It is.
And you know, I'm just I've bought so many apps over the years, Daniel. It would just blow your mind.
Well,
But
you take a lot of photos on iPhone. There are a lot of good apps to buy.
yeah, and you know what? Even like since I started podcasting, I have to talk about these things sometimes. And when they come into a conversation, I can look at my phone. Oh yeah, I have that, and I will have played with it at some point, so I can have something to say about it.
Yep.
And this isn't my job. I have a job that I do for a living. I do this for the love of the craft, but
Yeah.
I kind of look at all the apps on my phone and kind of think, well, it's kind of my job to have those because I have to talk about them, right?
Yeah.
So, um, so next question is, so with Glass, I understand there is a free offering that people don't have to pay for. Is that true?
No, 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 no.
No?
We just
Okay.
have a free trial. So
Oh, the
every
trial.
account
Okay.
starts with a 2-week free trial.
Oh, okay.
But to
All right.
keep using the app after that, you have to do it. Which
Yep.
is not to say that we won't do free accounts at some point where like a free viewer account so people can sign up and like look at the great photos, but to upload or comment or appreciate, you'd have
Oh,
to
yeah.
have a
Right.
a
Yeah. And
paid
that
membership.
sounds fair to me. That sounds fair to me. And I think, in all honesty, if people who, are getting a little tired of the Instagram thing, if they did get a free version of Glass and started looking at it and started to realize that, hey, this is nice.
Yeah.
They, I'll bet you out of 100 people that get the free account, you probably have a very good percentage that will actually buy into it and use it.
So one
I
of
would not be
the
surprised.
Yeah, well, one of the numbers that I am very excited about and that I can share is like our trial conversion is over 40%, depending
Oh
on,
yeah, that's good.
like depending on the month and when it comes through and, whatever. So there have been times when like we've gotten a lot of trials that are started from a bad blog post, right? Not
Right.
not a bad blog post, but like a bad fit for the community. And so
Oh
like
yeah.
we've had a bunch of people join and not stick around.
Hmm.
And so and that number includes those, right? So
Okay. Yeah.
as Glass continues to grow and continues to mature in its feature set, and our platform continues to evolve, we think that'll probably go up, which is exciting because like
Hmm.
that is very, very high. We have we're close with a few other indie developers who have like freemium models where they have free accounts and then paid accounts to remove the
Hmm.
ads. And their take rate is between 1% and 2%. And like that's not
Oh
a
wow.
it's not an interesting business to us, but it's also not an
Hmm.
interesting platform, right? Like the
Yeah.
thing that makes Glass wonderful to use is the lack of ads and algorithms. And
Yeah. Oh yeah.
if we
It
had
is
like
so
a
nice.
proper free using account that like had ads and then you could pay to remove them, like it would kill the magic of what's going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and so like we're still not sure what that if and when we do that Tom and I will have many productive product fights about it. But
Yeah.
like what we have right now is like a really special thing. We've been around for a year as of tomorrow,
Hmm.
and tomorrow we're opening up. I guess we can talk about Glass Anywhere for a moment. So
Well,
tomorrow,
I was gonna say that tomorrow is the
yeah,
first anniversary, and you have some exciting things coming out. And so let's, yeah,
yeah,
let's absolutely
let's
talk
dive
about that.
into that. So tomorrow is our first year anniversary, which is like a thrilling thing in general for us because we have made it, right? Like a lot of startups
Yeah.
don't make it that long, and we don't have millions of other people's dollars in our bank account to survive the first year, right? Like the only reason that we're still here is because people have paid memberships and supported our product. Um, and that is like I get a little emotional when I think about it. But so tomorrow we are also opening up outside of Apple.
Hmm.
When this is published, Glass Anywhere will be out, and that will be email sign up and starting subscriptions on the web. So anyone with a computer, web browser,
Hmm.
Android phone, it won't matter. Anyone can sign up for Glass and use Glass and become a member. And
Yeah,
just for the
that's awesome.
record, yes, we are doing this 6 months faster than Instagram launched an Android version. No big
Oh,
deal.
is that
It's
right? Eh?
fine. Yeah. Yeah. It took 18
Oh,
months for Instagram to open up outside of Apple. And we are doing it in 12 with a fourth of the team size and $10 million less in funding. But
and right now I see Luke Skywalker standing there brushing his shoulder off.
yeah, like exactly. That's how it feels. Um,
Yeah.
so our so that in and not that we're keeping track of that, right? Of course not. I
Oh
would
no,
never be
no.
that petty to bring it up repeatedly for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So that's a really big deal for us because it opens up our membership to anyone that wants to be a member, and we're really excited to see what camera is incredible, the Google Pixel 6, right? Like that camera rules. We are so excited to see Android photos. I remember when Instagram opened up to Android photos, and everyone was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I hate this." It's like that is not us. We
Right.
we are thrilled for this.
Well, there's a lot of good Android cameras out there.
Yeah.
I'm in a Facebook group with Shane Mostyn, out of Australia, who has a YouTube channel where his niche is astrophotography with phones, and
I love
he
that.
does. Oh, you should see this stuff. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And he has I think it's a Pixel 6. He has uh, he used to have a Huawei P30 Pro.
Yep.
He still has the Samsung um, S22 Ultra, and he has the iPhone 13 Pro Max. And the stuff that he does with these phones is amazing. But I mean, there's people in the group that have such a variety of phones, because it's not
Yep.
just an iPhone only group. It's for mobile, right? And some of the stuff you see out of the Android phones is absolutely amazing. So
Yeah.
I can't
And
wait to see that
yeah, right.
infiltrate
Like
into the glass stream.
we are so excited with that. But so tomorrow is also our 1 year anniversary, and in this time frame, right? In the last 365 days of running a social
Hmm.
platform, uh, we have had to delete 2 comments and we have had to remove 5 spam accounts. That's it.
Wow.
Right. So
That's
like we have
incredible.
had and like a handful of photos, I think, right? Like someone like new photographer joins, accidentally post nudes, and then we have to delete
Oh
them and be
yeah.
like, hi, sorry, Apple.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
and they go, oh, yep, sorry, that's my bad.
Well,
And then they
for
go,
me personally, I I don't care to see nudes, but I mean, I know some people, they see it as an art form, and that's fine.
I
Um,
well, yeah, like I don't want to go off on this diatribe, but I do
yeah,
have a diatribe of there are wonderful nude photographers that make incredible art, and there
yeah,
are creepy, predominantly men who like use it to predator and like be
yeah,
creepy on beautiful young women, and like that
yeah,
is the thing that we're wanting to avoid. We would love one day to have
yeah,
like wonderful artful nudes, but like that's like a decade away, and it's
yeah.
like
And
not a high priority for us.
I would hope that you'd have a filter
Oh yeah, absolutely.
thing at that time too.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but anyway, so we've
But
had
anyway,
to
yeah, let's not get off track
we've
here.
had to yeah. So in a year, we've had to remove like 10 things, right,
Yeah,
from our community because everyone gets it, right, and the behavior that's modeled by all the other members is supportive, kind, like a little pushing, a little questioning of like, how'd you do this? Why'd you do this? Oh, have you thought about this
yeah,
little crop a little differently?
yeah, yeah,
And, like that, that's wild. Right. To me, like
yeah. Oh
it is
yeah,
it is literally my life's work has led to setting up a community in this way. And like, the 2 decades that I've been working on the internet and working with photos and like having a career is structured in a way that like I was this is like a dream job for me, and it's
hmm,
working in a like better than any of us could have expected, right? Like
yeah,
our trust and safety conversations before we launched versus after we launched are very different, right? Like we were very worried about needing to remove spam accounts early and like bad actors, because that's just
yeah,
what you worry about when you worry about starting a community on the internet. And
hmm,
now it just didn't happen because people got it, and like people um there's an earnestness to Glass's community and to the vibe that our members have cultivated, right? Like this is a thing that Tom and Stefan and I all wanted to have happen, but having it actually happen and grow out of something that is no longer just us, right?
yeah,
And is we're seeing modeled back to us from people that we don't know, that we haven't interacted with on the platform, is like this really beautiful, heartwarming thing. Um, and as of tomorrow, we get to open that up to anyone that wants to be a part of it, and we could not be more excited. I know,
yeah,
I
yeah.
know, I know. Like every startup says, "Whoa, we're thrilled to announce it," but like this is something like different is happening on Glass that it feels like has been missing from a photography community on the internet for a really
Oh
long
yeah,
time,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Um,
Because I mean, it's I mean, I can't say enough how pleasing of an experience it is because when I do like when I go on to a photography community online, I just want to see the pictures and I
mhm.
don't want to see, other things. I want to see the pictures from the people I'm following. If I want to see other stuff, I'll go into the tab where you could explore other photographers and I mean that's how I found a lot of people I follow on there. I go in there and I scroll through and if I see an image I like, I'll look at it, I'll look at their feed and
Yep.
bang, I'm following them. And and I've been getting some random followers and I'm sure that's how they do it as well.
Yeah.
It's so cool. It's the even the website, like the web interface is amazingly good. Like
Yeah.
I don't know who does this, whether it's Tom or Stefan or
It's a combination of both. So Tom's
yeah,
our designer. So everything how everything looks is all Tom.
yeah,
And then
Well, he
Stefan
nailed
is
it.
the engineer. Yeah. Tom turns out is a very exceptionally good designer. It turns out working at Facebook for
Yeah.
years and then Pinterest for years really
Hmm.
refines the ability to design a social platform. Um,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I'm
so
so glad that he left the morals there.
same.
You know what I mean?
So
Like
like,
the lack the lack of appreciation for privacy and all that
yeah,
stuff that's been left behind by the looks of it. Because everything here is privacy oriented, safety oriented.
yeah. Like,
That just you just feel the love when you go to Glass. That's all I could say.
yeah. Like Tom was early at Facebook, right? Like he was like designer 12 or
Oh,
30
okay.
or something like that. So back then it was like a wonderful, like we're connecting the world. This is all
Yeah.
exciting, but it
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
not yet gotten to the point where we're collecting all of the data for everything
Okay.
and we're collecting the data for the world, right? Like it was like working there in the late aughts, right, of like
Oh, okay.
2008 or 2009 was like a very different thing than working there now.
Yeah.
um
Yeah. It would be. Yeah.
Anyway, so but like if talking about the web, right, like if you compare our web experience on Glass, which is just a wall to wall, like edge to edge,
Mm.
um
Yeah.
masonry grid of beautiful photos, very small unobtrusive UI, and then you click
Yeah.
through and it's just the biggest photo possible on the page with all of the information on the right, and then a full screen mode where you can dive in and like really zoom in and like do all your wonderful pixel
Yeah.
peeking that we all love
Yep.
to do, versus Instagrams, right?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
versus like even to a certain extent, like versus Flickr or SmugMug, right? Like
Yeah.
Flickr has ad panels if you're not a pro account, and their pro membership is
Hmm.
like $80. Um,
Oh, yeah.
and like the how the information is laid out is dated. uh
Hmm.
and so
Yeah.
like it is wild what we can do because we only have to present the photos the best way as
Yeah.
opposed to
Yeah.
the ads the best way, and the photos are the thing that get you there to see the ads.
Yeah.
Oh god,
Yeah. I
it's
mean, I'm
like
looking at it right now as we talk, and I've got one of those 24-inch iMacs that came out last year.
same.
The different colors and the screen on this thing is just absolutely amazing. So you can imagine how
What
good
color did
glass
you get?
looks. I went with the blue.
I'm a pink man myself.
Ah,
Because I
yeah.
wanted to match my pink headphones. Uh,
Well, I got the Pacific Blue iPhone 12 Pro Max,
oh yeah,
and
that's a beauty.
so I mean, my next iPhone will probably be the if it's a color for that phone, it'll be the Midnight,
Yeah,
which is like a really really dark blue. Like it should look really nice. So I'm kind of into the blue thing these last few years. So, but my next choice probably would have been maybe the purple one.
yeah. Purple's great. I love their purple.
Yeah,
I if they ever release a purple iPhone, I'm upgrading regardless. Right, like a proper pro purple.
I
It'll
heard they
it'll.
might.
I know. I don't check Mac rumors every day, making
Yeah, yeah,
sure I may
exactly.
one day get a purple iPhone
'Cause-
14. Uh,
yeah,
anyway, so
because my
like
wife's got the purple 12 and the purple iPad Air, and
they're so
and they're
good.
pretty nice. So, but
So
so yeah, so let's can you give any more details on Glass Anywhere? Like what kind of like is it
yeah,
basically the iPhone experience but on the web type of
so
thing, or
it is at its most bare bones. It is just email, login, sign up, and subscriptions that aren't run by
okay,
Apple. So for the first year, we were Apple ID only. The only way that you could create an account was using your Apple ID, Apple sign in. Now we are
yeah,
expanding that to email and password logins, which has been an uh, oddly passionate feature request from a lot of iPhone users, which has been
really,
surprising.
huh?
Yeah, they like people just like using their emails. And I'm like, okay, that doesn't make any sense to me. I love Apple sign in so much, but
Yeah,
we're gonna do it. So this is us doing that. And then in addition to that, um, it will be available on the web so anyone can sign up. So like when we give you the coupon code for $20 for the first year of Glass and you put it in your link in like the show description, someone will be able to click that and sign up right on the web, and it'll just autofill the coupon.
Well,
It's very
I'm gonna share the heck out of that code.
yeah, I'm
Thank you for
very
sending
excited.
it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like we're so it like our subscription backend is built on Stripe, and like our Stefan had a Twitter thread a week or two ago about how everyone complains about the 30% until they have to build like a subscription platform.
Oh yeah.
Because like it's a lot of work. Stefan has been slowly but surely like just focused and effectively just like not sleeping to make this happen.
God bless him.
As yeah, like it is a wonderful thing. He has taken a nice vacation in a week or two. Fingers crossed.
Oh, good.
So, but then like that's basically it. Glass Anywhere will just mean anyone, anywhere can sign up for a
Yeah.
Glass account.
That's awesome.
So the in the coming weeks and months after that, we will eventually have like proper apps in the Google Play Store and the Windows Microsoft
nice.
Store. But I don't. They will not be coming on launch. This will just be the like framework and groundwork for that to be a thing that we can do eventually. But we also spent a lot of time when we were building Glass for the web, making sure that our mobile experience on the web was great. And like, candidly, it is significantly better than any web app I've ever used on a phone. It is a really good experience. And so like we feel comfortable and confident that like if you just sign up and like save a bookmark on your Android phone, you are not likely to notice. If we're being honest, it is a really wonderful experience. I know so many people have said that and that web apps are the best in the future. And then they weren't, but like because of how simple our experience is and how minimal it is, it was I don't want to say it was easy because that would be erasing so much of Stefan and Tom's work to make it great.
Right.
But it is a wonderful experience, and we're really excited to get it in the hands of everyone. And then I can also talk a little bit about the features that we're releasing after that. So we are, as soon as Glass Anywhere launches, we are then moving on to our next set of discovery and search improvements. So we'll be releasing a staggered set of discovery improvements with camera searching. So you'll be able to see, like I shoot with a Leica Q2. I'm super fortunate to have it. It was a very white knuckle purchase. Very excited to have it. But like it was worth it for me and the type of like shooting that I needed to do, and needing to have a camera small enough to take with me to like, make it happen. And it is wonderful. And so like once that feature's out, I'll be able to, in the same way that you can click a category on Glass, you'll be able to click the camera and see every photo that a Leica Q2 has taken, or every photo that an iPhone 14 Pro Max has taken.
That's cool.
And then we'll also be releasing a location search. So you'll be able to add location to your photos and search via location. So if you want to see photos from Iceland, or you want to see photos from the Oregon coast, or like it'll be we stop at city level because for privacy reasons. So you won't be able to see the photo directly over like your house or whatever. It would just say Aspen, and it'll be it'll be privacy focused like everything we do. So it'll be you opt in to share your photo location, and you'll be able to turn it off for certain photos, that sort of thing. And then we have another one for categorizing your own photography and yourself that we're still working through the discovery phase on, but we're really excited about that one. And hopefully all three of those will be coming out before the end of the year.
Cool.
Like it's late at night. We've been working a lot to get Glass Anywhere out, so I can be a little bit more candid because I'm a little tired. We know that like our search experience is not great, right? Like how most apps do search is they track all your data and everything you do, and then they compare it to how other people are searching, and then show you stuff that they know you're going to like because they know everything about you, right? Since we don't do that, search is a little harder for us. So right now it's a very manual process, and we know that it needs to be better, and like we are focused on it as soon as we get Glass Anywhere out the door. And that's really exciting because like I spend a lot of time searching for photographers on Glass, almost like it's my job.
So it is.
I am very excited for those coming changes as well. I think it'll make it a lot easier to find the photographers and the type of photography that you like. And, like right now we have categories, which is a wonderful way to explore the community and find, like if you're a film photographer, it's really easy to find film photographers on Glass because you just go to the film category. But if you are, like if you're looking for a very specific camera because you want to see if you want to buy that camera, that's a little harder on Glass. We're going to make that easier. Scout's honor. Promise everyone. It's coming.
Awesome. Oh, that's fantastic. I'm really excited about the new category of water because I live in a small city that surrounds a bay that goes out into a bigger bay, like Georgian Bay, which is then it connects to the Great Lakes, Lake Huron. But we have a lot of good waterfalls and rivers and things like that around here that I've photographed over the years. And so I'm going to be sharing more of them during this month. But Daniel, it's been an absolute pleasure. And I can't thank you enough for coming on and talking about the new app of my life, Glass. And, I'm just super stoked about it. And so, hey, tell everybody where they could find you.
Yeah. So go to the show notes right now if you're not a Glass member and click the little link in the show notes. That'll be glass.photo/something because I haven't made it yet. Candidly, I haven't made it. I'm making it after we're done recording. So don't know what it's going to say yet. But just click the link in the description to get 20 years for your first year, or $20 for your first year. Glass membership, glass.photo. You should follow us on Twitter, which is Try Glass. I'm very good at Twitter. I'm an exceptional tweeter. You're gonna love them, I promise. And for myself, just go to glass.photo/Daniel and you'll see me, you'll find me, and I will tell you I love your photos because I do. I really, really do. Photos are magic, and the fact that we get to see them all day, every day, is a blessing that we do not take for granted.
Yeah, well, that's excellent. Folks, you could find me on Glass, and I was fortunate enough to get my first name as well. So it's just at Greg on Glass. And of course, I've got a link in the show notes to my Glass account. And, the podcast lives on iPhoneography.ca. And, sorry Dave wasn't here, everybody, but again, this is not a regular recording night, so he wasn't able to make it, but he'll be back for the next one for sure. And again, thanks, Daniel. Really appreciate it, and all the best to you and Tom and Stefan.
Thank you. See you on Glass.
You bet.